Hello and welcome to this discussion of one of my favourite books, Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. Fantastic book. If you've not read it, stop watching this video, go out and read this book. Well worth it. So what makes this book so great in my mind? Well, it's very unique in that it has 6 separate narratives, all weaved into one overarching theme. So you get this sort of Moby Dick style adventure story written in the form of a diary. You get these letters from this musician, who's apprenticed to this more famous musician, and you get this mystery thriller, good plot, stands on its own 2 feet. Then you get this sort of one that flew over the cuckoo's nest style story, more comic in tone, about this vanity publisher who sort of gets stuck in this retirement home. Then you get, from light-hearted to a bleak, you go into this dystopian future, this sci-fi story with elements of 1984, Brave New World, a whole host of other dystopian novels. Then you go into this post-apocalyptic survival story. So not only are these stories sort of different narratives, different points of view, but they're also different in genre, different in style, different in tone, and that's really good how he manages to weave it all together into one novel. And the other unique aspect is the way he cuts the stories off. So you sort of go halfway through the first story, cut off, go on to the second, cut off, and the third, fourth, fifth, and you get the 6th story all the way through, and then you wind your way back down again, so you reach the apex and then you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's also very good, very unique, and it sort of sticks with you. But there are also references throughout the stories to future stories, to past stories. You get Cloud Atlas, you get Soap is also referenced, Dreams of Robots. It's all sort of in there, referenced from one page to the other. And you've also got these themes that run through. So the main theme for me is sort of a theme of oppression, slavery, corporate slavery, and also sort of oppression of the mind, so mental illness, sort of in the second story particularly. Robert Frobisher, the protagonist of that story, seems to be a bit depressed, and you get oppression of the elderly, so they're all trapped in this retirement home, this sort of Kafkaesque, nightmarish residential home that nobody can seem to escape from. So that seems to be the main thing for me, slavery, oppression. But also, I think it's sort of saying how the individual is just as important as the collective. And you can see this in, obviously the first story is what kicks it all off. And all these are linked narratively, sort of some more closely than others. But, also the second story, the person the protagonist is corresponding to, he's getting emotionally invested in Robert Frobisher, and he sort of influences the protagonist in the third story. And the 5th story, he's getting this conspiracy, and the person who's sort of the crux of this conspiracy sort of plays a game and conspires to allow an uprising by releasing these commandments, which sort of mean nothing but affect the sort of under the subhuman population, if you will. And so it all affects each other, and I think it's summed up best in the last line, like, what is the ocean but a multitude of drops? Each one drop sort of adds to this collective. So I think that's done really well. So it's a fantastic novel. Go and read it. There's also a film released about it, Cloud Atlas. Cracking film also. much different from the book. It's obviously spliced different, all the stories sort of form one cohesive narrative, but it's sort of all spliced in between each other. So obviously they've got to do that for budgetary reasons, I imagine. But you know, it's a fantastic film. So if you're addicted by the book, and you know, and you still need to sort of stave off that addiction, then go watch the DVD or the Blu-ray. Now this is the UK edition. I think there are a couple of differences between the UK and US. Some a bit more substantial than you might expect. So just be wary of what edition you want, because I think I'm not too clued up on what the differences are exactly, but I think the science fiction chapter's been changed a bit between each one. It's still the same thematically, and you're still sort of getting the same, you know, sort of story, but it's not going to be exactly the same between the two versions. So thanks for watching, and hope you have a good day. See you.